So, if you've ever stared down a massive, totally intimidating exam paper and literally felt your brain just shut off, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, our entire focus is on previous year question papers, and we are going to solve them in detail. But we're not just going to sit here and read you the answer key. No way. We're taking a dense, text-heavy compilation of UGC Net English past papers and transforming this whole process into an engaging masterclass on actual exam strategy. I mean, just look at that formidable wall of text. When you sit down for an English exam like the UGC Net, this sheer density is exactly what you're up against. It's a lot, right? It can immediately trigger anxiety. You've got multiple statements, complex codes, densely packed options. It is incredibly easy to lose your footing. So our main goal today is to completely deconstruct this visual chaos. But hey, don't panic. Here's our exact roadmap to cracking this thing today. We're going to cover 1. The UGC Net Challenge, 2. Solving chronology questions, 3. Mastering the matching game, 4. Identifying literary concepts, and finally, 5. Final exam strategies. Let's get into it. All right, Section 1, the UGC Net Challenge, transforming overwhelming text into solvable puzzles. We really need to reframe this exam. It is not a test of rote memorization. It's actually a thrilling detective puzzle where you're hunting for specific clues. You know, the creators of these exams know that nobody can memorize every single publication date or obscure literary text. What they're really testing is your ability to analyze, deduce, and basically eliminate the wrong answers. Moving right along to Section 2, solving chronology questions, mapping the timeline of literary history. Let's tackle our first puzzle type and see how we can build up those timeline deduction skills. Chronological questions are notoriously tricky, mostly because they look like they demand absolute perfection from your memory. Okay, quick pop quiz. I want you to pause and actually guess the answer to this real exam question pulled straight from a past paper. Can you arrange Mulkraj Anand's works in chronological order? Your options are 2 Leaves in a Bud, 7 Summers, Cooley, The Village, and The Big Heart. Now, in a real exam setting, panic usually sets in right about now if you only recognize maybe 1 or 2 of these. But let's think out loud for a second and see how we can solve this using visual structure. See, this brilliantly illustrates how finding just 2 anchor dates visually resolves the entire question, and you don't even need to know every single year. If you happen to know that Cooley is an early major work published in 1936, and 7 Summers is a later autobiographical piece from 1951, you've got your bookends. You can immediately eliminate any multiple choice option that doesn't start and end with those 2. Once those anchors are set on your mental timeline, all the other pieces just naturally fall right into place. Okay, Section 3, Mastering the Matching Game, connecting authors to their text structurally. Let's dive into our next major hurdle, which is the matching game. This is where exams really try to confuse you with dense lists. Matching questions account for a huge chunk of your marks, and honestly, they are specifically designed to play tricks on your eyes. Just looking at this jumbled question featuring Indian authors from a past exam, you can totally see why standard bullet points fail us. You're looking at a list 1 with names like Kamala Markandeya and a list 2 with texts like The Grip of Change, and it's all jumbled up with Roman numerals and alphabetical codes. Trying to draw mental lines across this mess in your head, yeah, that's a total recipe for disaster. But check this out. Look what happens when we map this data into a structured table. It instantly cuts through all that noise and reveals the correct relationships at a single glance. By organizing the information like this, we immediately see that Kamala Markandeya pairs with possession. And notice how adding the publication years deepens the context even more. In the actual exam, if you only definitively know that P. Sivakami wrote The Grip of Change, you literally just look for the option code that matches that single pair. More often than not, that one structural connection solves the entire puzzle for you. Now for Section 4, Identifying Literary Concepts. Deducting definitions through historical clues. Moving forward, let's explore how to tackle those tricky conceptual questions using pure logic rather than just leaning on your memory. Because let's face it, not every question is going to be a straightforward author and book matchup. A lot of them test your grasp of broader literary movements and historical linguistics. Here is a classic logic test from the 2012 paper. Which date feels like the true start of the early modern English era to you? Is it 450? 1066, 1500, or 1800? Well, if you don't know the exact textbook answer, use historical anchors. 1066? Nah, that's the Norman Conquest, right in the thick of Middle English. 1800? Way too late, we're well into the Romantic period by then. So the answer is 1500. Knowing broad historical eras like this acts as a sort of master key for eliminating obviously wrong centuries in multiple choice questions. 1500 roughly coincides with the introduction of the printing press in England and the start of the Tudor period, both of which fundamentally shifted the language. By relying on that structural historical logic, you arrive at the correct answer without ever needing the exact word-for-word definition.
And for those dreaded multi-statement questions, use a step-by-step elimination process. Take this beast of a question on Wood's dispatch. Instead of panicking over a massive paragraph, just break it down. Step 1. Recognize it as a pivotal 1854 document for English education in India. Step 2. Recall that it dealt with Anglo-vernacular language. Step 3. Use those clues to verify it recommended departments for Arabic, English, and law. If a multiple-choice option misses even one of those elements, boom, eliminate it. The whole thing becomes purely systematic.
Finally, Section 5, Final Exam Strategies. Synthesizing our detective work. Let's bring all of these tactics together into one final actionable toolkit. Because at the end of the day, solving previous year papers isn't just about reading the questions. It's really about studying exactly how those questions are built. So, the big takeaways here, if you seek out those anchor dates, if you rely on visual tables to declutter the mess, and if you apply basic logic for the process of elimination, you can confidently navigate even the most intimidating papers out there. This is your core strategy. When you face that giant wall of text, do not read it like a novel. Read it like a data set. Extract the dates, isolate the authors, map all the relationships. So I'm going to leave you with this somewhat provocative thought. Exam prep isn't just about cramming facts into your brain. It's really about mastering the art of analytical thinking. The next time you open a past paper or face down a massive wall of new information, ask yourself, how can I visually structure this to find the hidden logic? Try it out. Thank you so much for joining me today, and hey, happy studying!